use your math class. There are several points that we're going to go over today, so let's get started. First of all, we're going to go over how to use Canvas, and Canvas is basically our online interactive classroom. It's how we communicate together, how you get your assignments, how you know what you need to do or what you need to read. Then we're going to go over some helpful hints about how to be successful in your math class. After that, we're going to go over Pearson SuccessNet, which is your online interactive textbook. And then we're going to go over using MathXL, which is your online interactive homework/classwork. Note-taking is definitely a requirement for this class, so I'm going to go over my favorite method and what's actually required of you. And finally, we'll go through a sample lesson of how most of your days work. Okay, so let's start in Canvas. Now, like I said before, Canvas is our classroom. It's how we work together. So as you see down here, this is the website that you need to go to. You can also access it. Let's get started. Whenever you log into Canvas, this should be the first thing you see. It's your dashboard. It's all of your classes. Now, since I'm the math teacher, all I see is all my math classes. But you would see like English 1, biology, U.S. history, anything along those lines, the integrated series or anything like that. All your classes will be lined up here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Math 1. You just click on it to get into it. Then you'll come to my home page. All of my math classes look pretty much the same, which is like this. Of course, if you're in a different book, like say Algebra 1, Math 2, Math 3, anything along those lines, this will change and say your book title. If you're a non-curriculum guide user, you'll come here and you'll do the non-curriculum guide stuff, and that gives you the basic overview of the stuff you need for the class. All other students that'll be using this Canvas class as their main class will use all of the other interactive features. If you want to learn more about me, you just click on Meet Your Professor. And of course, all your course information is right here. So if you need to know the list of materials you need for the course, go ahead and click inside here. It'll tell you what books you need, that you need straight edge, graphing paper, all that fun stuff. And make sure if you're going to be attending those live seminars to get your document camera and your headset with the microphone, because we're going to be talking and sharing stuff interactively together. So talking is the microphone, and then the document camera is how we're going to interact, show each other all of our cool stuff, cool math. Okay, make sure that you print out your calendar and your assignment sheet for your notebook. Here's your ICANS. Here's a basic going over of Cornell Notes. Your scope and sequence, which is worked out what you do daily. Course description, pacing guide. Everyone in the class is required to do the introduction. Let me make this really clear. If you do not do the entire introduction, the rest of the class will not open up for you. So all of the class you will not see until you do the entire introduction. And that includes getting 100% on all your quizzes. So you need to go through, start at the beginning, click through and read each page, and do the 2 quizzes. The computer can keep track of what you read and what you haven't read, and what scores you got on the quizzes. So once you get 2 100s on the quizzes and read every page, then the rest of the course will open up and you can navigate as freely as you want. Now, to navigate the course, you have 2 different ways you can do that. You can go here to module views, or you can come down here and pick the week that you're in. So if I wanted to go to week view, I'll go just week 3. And I'll see my task list for the week. So each of these are interactive, and they will take you to the assignment, the corresponding assignment for what you have to do. And you'll notice that math generally has a cycle. We explore, which is learning our material. We grow, which is practicing our material. We check, which is a little mini 2-question quiz that makes sure you know the material. Because if you don't get 100% on this quiz, you really should go back and grow and explore a little bit more until you get 100% on the quiz. When you get 100% on the quiz, you know you're ready to go on. And at that point, you reflect. Now we reflect inside of our notes, and the reflection really is something along the lines of, what did you learn today? Or what equations, processes, or definitions were very important that you want to remember? What connections did you make? Was there a mistake that you learned and then you overcame it? Anything important, any connection you make, anything along those lines. It only takes 2 minutes to do, and it's a good little part of your grade. And the reason that we require it is that research shows if you take that 2 minutes to reflect at the end of each day, what it does is it solidifies the connections you made in that day. So when you come back tomorrow and start that lesson all over again, or start moving on to the next part, like starting 10.4 after you're done with 10.3, well then you remember a lot more of what you did, so you don't have to relearn a lot. So that's the whole point of the reflection. And then you start all over again. Explore, grow, check, reflect. Obviously, well, not obviously, but there's other stuff that you'll do at the beginning of the chapter, other stuff you do at the end of the chapter, and then we have little labs throughout. So that's not the only thing you'll do, but most of the days when you're learning a section, you will do those 4 things. Now this is a module view, and you get over here on the left-hand side, you just click modules, and it gives you week by week everything that we're going over. So you know in week 18, you'll be taking your milestone. Whereas in week 12, you'll be doing section 2.6, and then it looks like wrapping up the chapter 2. Okay? So whether you use the interactive home or the modules, you're good to go. Your grades are right here underneath grades. And that keeps track of what current grade you have in the class. Okay? Here's a quick access to Pearson's Assessnet, quick access to Math Excel, quick access to your live seminars. Here's the recordings in case you missed one, or the schedule in case you forget. Here's quick access to your weekly discussion questions. We have one every week 1 through 16. All of your key assignments, which are your required 3 a semester, and these are tests. They are tests that hold the same weight as your milestones, which is your midterm and your final. Okay, so take all of these seriously. These are like major projects, and these right here are your major tests. Those aren't the actual milestone, they're the study guides for them. Okay, you'll be taking the milestone with your ESs or at a center. Now let's go back to our presentation. Okay. So let's go into a little bit about things that will help you be successful in this math class. We're going to go over things you need to have out, your environment, what pages you need, and a couple little tricks to make it go a little bit smoother. Now this here is my personal work environment. I like working in front of a window because I really like the light. I always have coffee next to me because that helps keep me awake and active. I have my huge set of pencils because I'm very colorful, and I have my notebooks and everything else. Now that's me. For you, you need what works for you. So you do need your computer, your textbooks, your notebooks, your pens and pencils, highlighters, colored pencils, and rulers. You need all that stuff, but you need to do what works for you. If you work better in a well-lit area, then go to a well-lit area. Most of us work better in math in a quiet area. But we also have found that for a lot of people, a low level of music could be helpful. So you can go ahead and try that. You need to find your personal workspace and what works for you. It's usually not in the middle of the living room with other people running around. That just makes it so we can't focus. And math is a very focused subject. So you really need to give yourself space to learn, and to do that, you need to have your environment what it needs to be. Okay? And you definitely need your computer. Now on your computer, you should have all these web pages open. Not necessarily all these down here, though I do like having Google open at all times. But you need Canvas, Pearson's Assessnet, Math Excel, and Desmos. Desmos is actually optional depending on which path you go. Desmos is an online graphing calculator that's free. So it's a free online graphing calculator. It does a lot of things that normal graphing calculators don't do, like saves your graphs. Or, well, I'll show you in a second. We're going to be using this in class and in our live seminars, the Desmos, but you do have the option of going and buying a $200 graphing calculator and using that one. Whether you use Desmos or your graphing calculator, it is your responsibility to learn how to use it and use it well. For either one of those, the best bet is YouTube. Okay, and I wanted just to show you Desmos real fast. So this is Desmos. So whether you're graphing just like a simple equation or something a little bit more complex. Oh, I made that too big. My fault. Or something a little bit more complex, it will do it for you. You can even do the square root of 25, which is actually 5, see? It does normal functions too, like 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. There's a lot of different tricks to it, and like I said, your best bet is to use YouTube for this or any graphing calculator you buy. Let's go back. So in the class, I give you a couple different resources that we're going to go over in a second when I show you Pearson's assessment. If those resources aren't enough or don't go in depth enough into the conversation, then you're going to need to find an external way to learn something. So my first bet is Google. Now, if you look in your class and you look at the section titles, they're made to be Googleable. Yes, that is a word. So if I put solving equations and inequalities, the section title, into Google, I'm going to get thousands and thousands of answers. It even gives you a short little step. Personally, I like Khan Academy, Purple Math. There's a whole bunch of them out of here. But all of these are showing you how to do just that. You could even look at images to find a quick help. YouTube is also wonderful, but you shouldn't leave that section without understanding it. So if you don't get it the first way, then try it a different way. Try it a different way. When you finally get it, kind of save that way. Keep it aside. Say, you know what, this teacher on YouTube, he taught me really well. I loved the way he did it. So then start putting in that teacher's name in the subject area. He probably has more on different subject areas for you to learn from. So we all learn differently. Find what works for you. Finally, I suggest you set up a folder or a button on your browser where you bookmark all of these different tabs. Bookmark them, save your passwords, use your Chromebooks. You can put a folder like right on your desktop that you click on and it opens all of them up, or you can put a multi-set bookmark where you click on that and it opens all of them up. Since we have so many, it is nice just to flip in the tabs between them. It makes it really easy to get wherever you want. Okay, so now we're going to go over Pearson's SuccessNet. Again, Pearson's SuccessNet is your online book. So I'm going to show you how to register for it. Then I'm going to show you there's a PDF copy of your physical textbook that you've received. I'm going to show you what Explore is, what To Do is, and a couple other resources. So let's do that real fast. This is Pearson's SuccessNet. Now to register for this, you don't register here at Pearson's SuccessNet. So do not register here. See where it says new users? That's a big X for you. Do not do that. What you want to register is here within the class. So in the introductory week, you're going to see something that says very specifically Pearson SuccessNet registration. So let me show you what that looks like. So if I go to my introductory week and I look at it, which should be week 1, If you are in the B part of this course, then it has its own label. But for all the A parts of the course, it's in week 1. And if you look down here where it says enrollment in Pearson, when I look at that, it's going to be a Google Doc. I fill out all of this information, and within a week, you'll get emailed your personal username and password. Immediately, though, in fact, even right now, I'm going to give you that. So depending on which class you're in, here's your username, here's your password. This is a temporary one, so don't change the password, don't do anything crazy in it. It's just shared for this 1 week until you get emailed to you your personal one. That's like all other personal things. Don't share your passwords with people and all that lovely stuff. Because you can highlight and make notes in your book as soon as you get your personal password. It saves a lot of stuff also for you. So make sure as soon as you get your personal password that you start using that one. I will email it to you, so be very careful when you fill out that form to put in your email address correctly and the email address of your ES correctly, because I will also send the information to her and she'll keep track of it for you in case you ever have an issue. Okay, so now let's look at what that online textbooks looks like. So let's go to Pearson Success. Let's log into Pearson SuccessNet. When you get to pearsonsuccessnet.com, just click the login button. Enter in your username. I'm going to enter in the temporary Math 1, Springs Math 1, which is for the Math 1 class username. And it'll look just like this. Okay, any notices that I have will be right up here. This is basically a Google. And then you'll see everything else importance here. If you click on your open book, this gives you a PDF copy of your physical book that you were given. So as it's opening up, you'll see here's all the chapters. They come up word for word like another chapter. So remember I told you how you can post little notes or you can highlight in it. Here's the highlighter up here. Here's your note post. You can make it bigger, smaller. You could bookmark pages. This all runs in line with your physical book. So the real cool thing about this book, though, is right here underneath Student Resources. Every chapter and section has multiple little videos where it goes through how to do different problems from that section. So as you see, it'll just walk through whatever it is that they're trying to teach you. So it has these little ones, and you can see it goes over problem 1, 4, and 5. And then sorry, I have to exit out. Lesson 4 has a couple too. So that's the real added benefit, is these little small lessons to help you learn whatever the material is of that textbook instead of the one that you're physically given. You also have student resources here. If for some reason you're having a harder time with Math Excel and you just need some extra practice before you go back into it and finish, or you're just like a little bit iffy on learning that section, this is all tons of extra practice. You also have your homework videos sitting here. And this right here goes through how to do word problems on that section. Okay. Now, those are all kind of asides and helpful hints and things you're going to use when it's not always straightforward or clear to you. For the most part, whenever you do the explore part of the class, so if you remember over in our modules, when we were looking at a lesson, explore was the first one we did. Whenever you're learning something, doing that explore part, you're going to explore right here. Now, each section of your book comes with two things. One, it comes with a virtual nerd video. And these videos right here are different than all those other helpful hints. They are an actual teacher that's going to walk you through with a live board how to do whatever that section's about. So whatever she writes on her whiteboard will come up nicer right here. All of the steps are here. And the nice thing about some of the steps, like what is an expression, it'll bring up a new video if you don't know what they're talking about there. And each one goes really deep. So the videos keep going down or down. And then they have other ones that you can go through. Okay? So if you're having a hard time, like you don't know what an expression is, you can go back a set of videos. And each different one has different lessons that it links to. Other than that, these videos are only 4 to 5 minutes, so they usually don't take that long. And you should be doing them every day. Now, 4 to 5 minutes isn't enough time to learn an entire lesson. So after you watch the video, or before, it doesn't matter, learn your learning style, which one works best for you, you're going to do the interactive digital pathway. Now, the interactive digital pathway is an interactive PowerPoint where guys talk and they teach you how to do whatever we're going to do. So at the very beginning, they always do a launch. Now, the launch is something that teaches you the concept of the math you're going to do without actually having to move around numbers and letters and stuff. So like here, you're trying to figure out how many rows and is it going to make a perfect row if this falls all the way down. Once you do the launch, oh, it does give you the answer, by the way, as you tab through here at the bottom. It'll tell you what the answer is as you keep going through it. They also they talk you through different problems. So here's 5 different problems they're going to talk you through. And it talks you step by step. What do you do next? Think of this, just like a teacher would do, not taking you too fast, so that you really understand what's going on. And they end each problem with one practice problem for you to do and tell you the answer to make sure you kind of got that section. One practice problem where you can show different answer choices and then show your correct answer. They also show you the solution of how you should do it. Okay? We ignore the practice and assessment because we've bought in Math Excel. So we'll go into that since we've really gone over just about everything. Okay? To do is just a list of all the different sections that you're going to be doing in this class. Oh, I didn't mean to make that go away, but it works. Okay, so that's your online textbook. We went through the Explore, we went through the To-Do, we went through all the other resources. So back to how to use Math Excel. Well, that's the second piece. Remember, we explore, and after we explore, then we practice. Once we've learned it, we practice it. So here's the practice portion. We have you doing Math Excel for a lot of different reasons. It's interactive. One thing that we learned about math is that if you start to do a problem wrong, it is 10 times harder to fix it. So this tells you immediately whether or not you did the problem right or wrong, so you can go back to fix it. It also gives you a whole bunch of helps that are right there built into the program, so that if you're struggling with it, you have a place to go. Let's take a look at it. So let's start first with how you register. This program here, you actually register on your own. Your ES should have emailed you a 30-digit code, or you got a piece of paper with your textbook that has the 30-digit code on it. Then you just click Register as a Student. You accept all their terms. You create your own password. If you had an account last year, then you just put in whatever that password was and you put yes, you did already have a Pearson account. And And even if it is actively working and it's from last year, you still have to re-register with the new access code. You just say, yes, you already had a Pearson account. You put in the access code, you click next. It'll ask you for your email, your name, all kinds of lovely stuff. You click next. And then it'll ask you for, at the very end, a class code. Now, the class code you're going to find in your Canvas course in that introductory week. At the bottom of what you need for Math Excel for School will have your class code. This happens to be the one for Math 3 for the 2016-17 school year, but yours will be right here. Okay? Now, once you do that, you'll be in the class, and the class will look like this. Now, I'm going to have to apologize ahead of time because I don't have an extra student account to show you, so I'm going to show you my account. They look exactly the same with one exception. Your account will look just like this account, but it will not have any of this stuff right here. So there won't be any instructor stuff down here. It will only have the student stuff up here. Your home page will look just like this home page, where it tells you your overall score you've gotten yet, and it shows your book down here. Okay, so this keeps track of what score you have on the Math Excel and the quizzes, because the quizzes are all in here. The calendar we don't use. Homework and tests is where you find all of your homework and tests. And your results is a breakdown of this score. It tells you every problem you've done, how much correct, what score you got on it, how much time you spent, and what day you worked on it. Study plan is just another way of going about learning it with practices and quizzes, but it's more intensive work than the homework and tests. So I will see all of the homework and tests sitting there. Homeworks are blue. Well, the quizzes are little squares, and then tests are diamonds. Okay? So homework is circles. Homework, section work, classwork, whatever you want to call it. And then the daily quizzes are squares, and the chapter tests are diamonds. So let's go into one. The main difference between your homework and your quiz is the homework has all this dynamic help that I'm going to tell you about, whereas your quiz will not have any of the helps. They'll expect you to do it all on your own without any help. So here's our problem. It'll tell you how many problems you have up here, how many you've completed. You get a nice little check mark when you do it. It also tells you how many parts to this problem there are. So even when I enter the right answer here, I still have a second part to this problem to do. Now say I have absolutely no clue how to do this. I'm going to hit over here and I'm going to hit Help Me Solve This. Help Me Solve This is interactive, as in it will take you step by step, having you fill in information as you go, learning a little bit at a time. Okay? If you put in the wrong answer, it will give you a short little helpful hint and let you do it again. The second time you put in the wrong answer, it'll give you the correct answers and let you move on to the next part that they're wanting you to do. Okay? So it takes you step by step how to do this problem. Once you're done, the numbers will reset over here and you will start a new problem all on your own. Another thing you can do, say you forgot like one small part of this, a definition or equation or something, you can view an example and it gives you the same type of problem, different numbers, and again, it takes you step by step without interacting with you though, so it's not checking to know that you got it, it's just giving you all the steps on what you're supposed to do. And that doesn't reset these problems. But if you need to use this view and example each time, you haven't really learned it. So you really want to try to do one of these by yourself without any helps before you move on. Your textbook is sitting here. Your glossary is sitting here. Math tools like algebra tiles and a compass are sitting right here. If there's a problem with the problem, go ahead and ask the instructor. This emails me, and you can print it out if you prefer to do it. Either way, you should have a scratch paper because math, you need a lot of scratch paper, and you should be doing it on paper. You can also print it out and have that to do on paper too if you want to. Okay. Like I said, 2 parts. Okay, say for instance that 3 times in a row you get this wrong. Same thing, if you get it wrong, they give you a helpful little hint. On the 3rd time, it tells you final check. It gives you the correct answer. It then marks the problem wrong. Well, this is half wrong because it then has a second. Because this has 2 parts, it just lets you move on to the second part. But as soon as you get all the parts wrong, ooh, there's a 3rd part. Okay. You can choose something at the end. You can go to the next question, or you can view similar questions. So if you need to skip it and do a little bit more homework and then come back to it, that's fine. It'll leave it marked wrong until you come back to it. Once you're ready to revisit it again, hit similar question, and it resets the whole thing over again, and you can do it again. So there's no reason why you shouldn't get 100% since you can keep redoing questions until you get it right. Okay, that's pretty much all of Math Excel. Make sure you save. Nothing really bad happens if you don't, but preferably make the save. Like I said, your results are sitting here. So like what we just did, it'll say we spent 3 minutes on it. We did it today at this time, and we got none of them correct. So our score is still 0. So if you look here, okay. So if you're in a homework, a lot of times you'll see this pop up. Well, that's the video as it runs that'll show you how to do this type of problem. Or you can see something called an animation. Also, a little type of video that takes you step by step through how to do this type of problem. So that's also nice too, to have the animations and videos sitting right in here to help you. Okay, so let's go back. We've went over all of this stuff. We've done Canvas, Success in Math class, Pearson SuccessNet, Math Excel. So it's time to talk about taking notes. Now, note-taking is an integral part of you becoming a high school student. It's how we really get down to having information to remember. So in any job in your future, you're going to have books and notes on tricks and stuff that you use because we can't remember everything. So that's what we do in your notes. We put down equations, vocabularies, theorems, any of the essential questions being answered, graphs, the realizations you make, your connections. Mistakes is a big one too in math, because if we figure out why we made the mistake, we can stop it. Or if we just say we're making this mistake, we can be better aware of it. Any of your thinking going on? Now, you are required to have a definition/postulate theorem equation portion of your book. I suggest you do it in the back of the book. And I suggest that you do it from the back forward. So start on the very back page on the back side and write your first definition there and keep adding all the way down and then flip it to the front side and start your definitions that way. That's the best way to make your book match as opposed to trying to guess how many definitions you're going to have to do over the course of the year. Okay. Our preferred note-taking method is Cornell Notes. The reason that we like Cornell Notes is because it breaks apart everything in a nice, easy to read way. Here's an example. Over on the side here, you'll put labels or anything you really want to pop out and stick out. Ways to know what's over in this section. So here's all of the notes that you're going to take. making sure you label it so you know like when you did it, what section it's on, all that. And then at the end of every note page, you do a summary of what you learned. This is all about that reflection piece. And the reason that you want that reflection piece is, again, it solidifies those connections and makes you remember what it is that you're learning, and you don't have to go back and review it as much. Here's an example of a filled out Cornell Notes. So you'll look that I said this is the solve it. So I'm telling myself that this is where I got it. I'm asking questions that I know might come up on a test or a question that I want myself to answer. Again, I'm just saying where I got these notes from. This is telling me what type of formula it is, and I highlighted this because I have to remember this formula, and it pops out of the page. I also write any notation down here. So this means to change or subtract. So I want to put that over here because there's a lot going on in my notes over here. And this pops it out easier for me. Also, a little memory type of trick I have over here. Here's my reflection at the end of the day. And like I said, there's the notes. Okay, well, that's it. That's pretty much everything you need to know for your math class. But you can always email me if you have extra questions. So at the very end here, let's go through what a sample day might look like. So I begin my day by getting everything all set up, ready to go. I have my computer, my coffee, and then I have my tabs open, all ready to go. I'm sitting in my favorite place. I have on my Mozart so that it's kind of white noise music. I get started. I start off by doing my Explore, and I get to it by going to my task list for that week. And then in Explore, it tells me to start that launch. So I go to Pearson SuccessNet. I start with my interactive videos, interactive digital pathway, and I go through that. I'll also go and watch my virtual nerd videos, and I'll see at this point I should be feeling a little confident about what I'm doing. So then I'll go to the Let's Grow portion. Then I'll do the corresponding assignment in Math Excel. I do all of my Math Excel, and then I end the day with the Let's Check. So I do that. I do my little quiz. I only get one of them right the first time. So I go back and remember, like, oh, I did a problem, but I needed a lot of help on it. So I do it a couple more times. Even if you get a problem correct in Math Excel, you can do it again. It doesn't stop you from doing it. You can do it as many times as you want. So I'll go do a couple more so I'm feeling confident about that type of problem. And I'll go back to the quiz and I'll redo that again. This time I got 100%, so I'm ready to reflect on my day. Now the whole time that I was doing the Let's Grow, the quiz, the Explore, I was taking notes. Now that my notes are all good to go, especially on that quiz right here. If I only got one wrong or one right, then I should figure out what I got wrong and take some extra notes on it so that I can remember it for next time. Now I do my reflect at the end of the day. And that's everything. Enjoy your math class.